Have you ever wondered why women are blamed for the things men control? Have you ever wondered why are men faced for the same behavior that women get punished for? A lot of this comes down to patriarchy, a social system where men hold most of the power in politics, economy, family, and even culture. And patriarchy is not natural biology. It's power, history, and culture stuck in one direction. And once you see it, you can change it. For a long time, people assume that men have always ruled the world. But you know what? Researchers think that patriarchy developed gradually. So in many early hunter gatherer societies, men and women shared power more equally. So the thing is that rules matter for survival. But the issue is that they were not rigidly unequal back then. So a big shift came with agriculture. So people settled, farm, and also own land, which is there is control over resources. So it became central to power. More men, general men, so men gradually gain more authority over this property and also inheritance. And over time, women were pushed back into the domestic spheres. While public leadership became male dominated, like women are not allowed to speak, women are not allowed to do these things because, you know, misogynistic. Yeah. Like you can talk, you can participate in political debates, political talks, or you cannot even make decisions. Moreover, patriarchy shapes everyday life into rigid gender roles. Like men traditionally are told to become providers, strong, independent men, while women are expected to be caring, emotional caregivers. And these rules are not fixed by biology. They have learned this from the media, school, and especially the family. So, in families, patriarchy often comes or patriarchy often means that men hold most of the power. So they make decisions, they dominate conversations, and they basically control the resources or and the money. So when one partner hold most of the power, the other person's voice fades, and children grew up thinking that's normal. But these rules are changing. Feminist movements and education and also changing laws have opened up spaces for women in leadership and men in caregiving they have now, and as it should actually. So should, but still stereotypes and discrimination still lingers. In addition to that, in the economy, patriarchy shows up as gender wage gap, and also glass ceiling. So research shows that women still earns less than men for similar work. So even when the education, like a woman's education and also the experience are equal, when both of them, like women and men, are equal, even though they are equal when it comes to education and experience, this gap is actually even wider for women of color. On top of lower pay, women are underrepresented in top leadership roles. So, the glass ceiling is actually a metaphor for invisible barriers that keep women from reaching those executive positions. So, even though they are qualified, they they can still reach those positions just because of injustice. Yeah. And so when women are concentrated in lower paying and also less secure jobs, they become more heavily dependent on men, especially on their husband. So this dependency can make it harder for them to leave abusive relationship and also demand fair treatment and invest in long-term goals like it could be retirement or especially education. Patriarchy also tool take a tool on mental health for both women and men. So men are often pressured to be unemotional and also strong and in control. So toxic masculinity. So it makes it harder for them to ask help and also show sadness or admit vulnerability. And study shows that this can contribute to a higher rates of depression, anxiety, and even suicide among men. So women, meanwhile, are taught to be soft, pleasing, self-sacrificing, perfect. So when they absorb these narrow standards, they may develop low self-esteem and also internalized misogyny, which is judging themselves from sexist ideas and also feelings of worthlessness. So they feel useless. But we have to remember is that patriarchy tells men not to cry and women not to take up space. And this is injustice, especially for women. And both messages are forms of emotional violence and both hurt mental health. So patriarchy does not just live in love, but you know, it lives inside our screens. So, media plays a powerful role in shaping how we see gender. So, I think you are really familiar with this. So, in films or advertisement or even social media in general, men are often shown as leaders, powerful leaders, heroes, or even the men who make decision makers. And also, women are more often cast as love interests, caregivers, or even like figures, like decorative figures. And these repeated images teach children what normal look like. And not just normal, often looks male dominated. But the issue is that the media doesn't do it alone, doesn't act alone. Parents, also the families, reinforce or challenge these rules every single day. So when kids are told to play certain toys with certain colors or even choose careers for boys or girls, they have learned limits before they have even chosen for themselves. Patriarchy is pervasive, but it's not really permanent. Feminist movements from women's right to vote or suffrage to modern campaigns for equal pay and also reproductive rights and hashtag Me Too have pushed back against male dominance step by step. So, research into it suggests that gender roles are socially constructed, so it was not in our biology, guys. It was socially constructed, which means they're also reconstructible. So, as more people question this stereotypes, support mental health, and also demand fair laws in workplaces, and also society can shift. Like, we're already seeing more women in leadership. Like, in some Europe countries, they have a lot of women in leadership positions, and that's giving, that's praying. So more men in giving roles, and more recognition of also non-binary and gender diverse identities. But we should remember is that progress is not automatic, though it depends on the awareness of the people and so education and collective action. So to conclude, patriarchy didn't just appear overnight, and I will say it won't disappear overnight. But it did not It did not grow from biology. It grew from power, history, and these unchallenged norms. And that means it can be reshaped. Yeah, it can be reshaped. So since if you found this video helpful, then let me know what is your answer to this question. What change would you like to see next? So if you are like person or looking to the changes of the society, then what change would you like to see next? Comment down below. Thank you.